Hi, everyone. This is Nasser Rodriguez with Comic Arts San Antonio, C.A.S.A for short, and we're the only convention here in San Antonio that focuses on comic book writers and artists. Today, we'll be speaking to two of those creators that will be joining us on October 5th at C.A.S.A. We've got Miri and we've got L.M. Valentine. Together, they're known as Queendom in the Stars. How are y'all doing?
Doing good.
Hey, thank y'all so much for joining me. As I mentioned, y'all are going to be joining us on October 5th at CASA. But before that, I just wanted to kind of give people a chance to get to know y'all a little bit more and see how this all started for y'all. So let's go way back to the beginning.
All
Were
right.
y'all always comic book fans, or were y'all always reading comic books or manga, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I pretty much started off with reading comic books like Spider-Man, and like Batman. So
Okay.
that's kind of where I started. But then I did start getting into manga, so that's a lot of my influence right now is a lot of manga and stuff too.
Do you remember about how old you were when you were started the superhero stuff?
Hmm. Let's see.
Pretty young.
Yeah. 'Cause I have to think of it from like where we lived because we're also military brats. So
Oh, okay. So lots of moving
uh,
around.
lots of moving around. I want to say that I pretty much started like in third grade, probably.
Oh,
I
okay.
remember getting Spider-Man comics in the mail.
Oh, okay. So you had a subscription. They were coming to you.
Hmm.
I was going to ask, like, how were you introduced? Were they like a family member or picked them up at a store or something?
I think it was a family member who first kind of introduced like Marvel DC to us.
Okay.
And then from there we just kind of went off.
Yeah.
So same thing, LM. You were also reading like those superhero
Yeah,
comics to start with?
pretty much the same.
Okay.
We did a lot of things together, so
Uh-huh. Are y'all sister or your siblings?
Yes.
yes.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Sisters.
I think that's our first sibling team that we have at Casa. We have you know, husband and wife and married couples, but this is our first sibling team. So awesome.
Yay.
Okay.
Cool.
So y'all started with like the superhero stuff. And so do you remember what it was that caught your eye with manga and kind of got you moving over to that direction more?
Um, it was like I think I started watching like Pokemon and Sailor Moon,
Oh,
and so
okay.
from there it just kind of turned into I'm gonna read like everything. And
Did you get to read all of that, or are you still trying to catch up on it?
not everything, but
Yeah. I understand. That's what I'm doing with Spider-Man. I'm trying to read everything from 1962 to current. So
Wow.
yeah. So I understand what that's like. So yeah, so you're talking about you were watching like Pokemon and things like that. So y'all are definitely 90s kids, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that goes into your aesthetic here that I love that you describe it as art with lo-fi, chill vibes and 90s flair. That is so cool because I definitely
Thanks.
remember all that 90s stuff and I love all of that. So what was it about the manga and the comics that you were reading? Well, I guess actually, let me put it this way. Even at that young age, were you guys already coming up with your own stories? Were y'all kids that were drawing all the time? Like, how did that work, the creativity part of it?
Well, I definitely was drawing all the time. I'm the artist, so
Oh, okay.
but I've been drawing ever since I was like a small child.
Hmm.
And so like once started getting into manga and stuff, that's when I started kind of more drawing in that sort of style. Like Sailor
Okay.
Moon and Dragon Ball was my first two influences.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it shaped a lot of what I draw and what I how I do
Okay.
things.
So then you're the writer on the team,
Yeah, I'm
LM?
the writer.
Okay.
I tried to draw, but then it kind of wasn't my thing.
Okay.
So like I kind of turned more to like character creation and like
Hmm.
writing fan fiction.
Oh, okay. And that was
So
something
like
that you were
I
doing early on?
yeah, like really young, I was creating like a lot of colorful characters and trying to write little stories around them.
Okay. And even back then, were you guys like teaming up? Like she would draw the characters that you were creating, that kind of stuff?
Not really.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
really?
funny enough, like that's kind of more of a recent-ish thing. Like she has spoken to me about like her characters and stuff, but it wasn't until kind of recently we're like, you know what, we can put both of our powers together, you
Oh,
know?
that's cool. Okay. So then that brings me to like, so then separately, you guys were doing your own creative thing, you drawing and you creating characters and writing stories and things. So when was it that it came together that like, hey, let's make a comic or let's make a web series about something that we can do together?
Was it not last year, but the year before that, I think.
It was a little longer than that.
Maybe like three years ago,
maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Is
Oh,
when we
okay.
first
Yeah.
started talking about it. But then we didn't get really very serious about it until
Mhm.
maybe, I want to say,
Maybe 2 years ago.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it took me a long time to do it because this is the first time I drew something that was like a comic book. Normally
Yeah.
I just, drop people and whatever, but
Yeah.
to draw a comic and then do it all myself,
Yeah.
So it took me a very long time. But yeah, I think it's been a long time at
Yeah.
least.
So was there something that you had to go back to then, or like something that's influencing you as you learn how to do like a sequential story in that format?
Yeah, I think my style kind of ends up being a little bit between a manga style and a Western comic.
Oh, okay.
Like if you look how my panels are, they're not like perfect or anything, but I feel like my panels tend to look a little more Western comic style.
Yeah.
They're a little bit more comic strip-y,
Oh, okay. Like a newspaper strip, that type of thing?
kind of like that.
Yeah, a little
Okay.
bit.
But then I try to add, bigger scenes
Mhm.
where it takes up more of a page, So I did have to go back and look at a lot of comics and a lot of manga and just kind of research how their panels work.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
think a lot of artists do that. You want to, if you can pick up from other artists that you like or that influence you on, well, how do they arrange this scene or where do they put the
mhm.
camera
Yeah.
for this, that kind of stuff. That's awesome. So for you, LM, as the writer, who are the writers that really influence your writing style, or maybe you try to take little things from?
I really like Lemony Snicket.
Oh, okay.
So
That's cool.
I was reading all of his books as a
Uh-huh.
child.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And are y'all currently reading anything, or do y'all not really keep up with it anymore?
I'm kind of reading a bunch of things.
Oh, really? What
I
are
have
you
a
reading?
stack of things. Um, recently I'm collecting Chainsaw Man, a
Oh,
little bit of
okay.
Bleach, but like, what was that last thing I got? Like, I can't even remember the last thing I got. Oh, it was a
Uh,
One Piece, but like those special story ones,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
the ones about Sanji and Ace.
Oh, okay. I have a friend who's really into One Piece. He's playing the card game, and he's always trying to get me to play with him and stuff. Like, do y'all play the cards or just you
Oh
just read
no,
it?
but we collect
We just
the
collect them for the art.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he showed me some of those. They look like really cool. He was telling me how like they get fan art on some of those sometimes. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, well, so it's Lemony Snickets as a kid, and then are you, LM? Are you reading anything right now, or do you keep up with any
Um,
comics or manga?
I think as far as manga goes, I'm mostly just trying to get all the Blue Exorcist.
Oh, okay. I'm not
Yeah.
familiar with that one. Is that a current series or is that an older series?
That one is current.
Oh, okay.
It's been going for quite a while now, though.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
That's
yeah, I'm
cool.
trying to collect those. I really like that one.
Okay. That's cool. I'll have to take a look at it. I was talking to somebody on another interview and I was letting them, we were talking about manga. And yeah, I was letting them know that like that's kind of my blind spot in comics. Like I've been reading for so long and I remember growing up, my friends were really into manga. And just for some reason that just kind of like that missed me, so I need to go back and get recommendations and see what's good. But definitely I want to get back to your story that you're working on. So can you tell the viewers a little bit about what your story is and how far along are you guys are in the story?
So like
Well,
we already created one. So we do
Yeah.
have one comic that's done.
Okay.
And that's the one that we'll be having at our table. That one's called The Adventures of Astrid Ganymede.
Okay. And what is your like elevator pitch if you're explaining that to somebody?
So basically, The Adventures of Astrid Ganymede is about Astrid Ganymede. She's a scientist and an engineer, and she's part of a group called Voyagers. And what they do is they explore unknown places and they're trying to make space colonies. And so, on a routine inspection, she gets sucked into a wormhole and she finds herself in the year 5555, and she's trying to find her way home.
Okay, that's awesome. So is it like is there so definitely it's sci-fi, but would you
Yeah.
say it's like fantasy sci-fi or is there a lot of action and stuff or what kind would you say it is?
I would actually call it more like cozy.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Like it's very low stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mainly just her kind of going through the different areas,
Okay.
and
Cool.
she makes
And making
friends
friends.
with a robot and an alien.
Oh,
Yes, there's like
definitely.
a friendship element to it. There's like, missing home, going through
Okay.
adventures to try to get home
Yeah.
with her new friends. So yeah, cozy, I think
Cozy.
sounds
Okay,
pretty good.
awesome. I'll have to show that to my wife. She's really into fantasy, and she was showing me like her books are over here on this section, a lot of Brandon
Okay.
Sanderson and stuff like that. And she was telling me about some cozy fantasy books that she has. So I'll definitely have to show her cozy sci-fi. So is this this story, Ellen, was this an idea you had and then you approached your sister to draw it for you, or did y'all
Yeah.
kind of both brainstorm this?
Yeah, it was mainly my idea. I was trying to sleep one day,
Mhm.
and and I collect dolls as well, and like
Okay.
customize them.
Hmm.
And so I was thinking about a new one that I had coming, and suddenly I came up with this character of like a space girl.
Yeah,
And so I was like, okay, let's expand on that.
that's
And
awesome.
I pretty much that morning I just came up with the whole idea.
Okay. And so then once you give your sister the idea, Mira, was it up to you to come up with the look, or did you pretty much already tell her how you wanted it to look?
And I had to look and everything.
Yeah,
Oh,
So
she
okay.
normally has everything kind of already planned out. Sometimes I'll ask her to draw me a little something. I'm
Yeah,
like, I don't care how crappy it looks.
yeah.
Just, I just need a little guide or something.
Yeah,
And then yeah, and then I'll work off of that and
yeah.
then make sure that she approves it.
Oh, okay. Well, so many like collaborators I've talked to before, they always talk about how like, it's one of the great things about comics is it's just a combination of both, right? You'll have the idea, and then maybe like you say, you'll have an idea of what you want it to look like, but then once you translate that idea onto the page or screen, like some new elements that you didn't think about might be in there. So how's it been collaborating, especially since y'all are sisters? That does it ever lead to like bumping heads on ideas?
I don't think
not
so.
too much.
I
Really?
think we
Yeah.
we end up agreeing on a lot of things. Sometimes I'll ask like, well, what if she had this? And it
Okay.
just kind of depends. Usually it works out pretty well,
Yeah.
and then
Well, that's
we
good to
try to
hear
mesh
that
the
there's
two.
no fighting between the siblings on this. So you say you guys have one issue out already. Are you working on a second one, or are you waiting to see what happens with this one, or how much story do you have planned, I guess?
So for Asteroid, it is a one shot.
Oh, okay.
Um, Otherwise, I'm actually working on a novella,
Oh, okay.
and she's going to be doing some illustrations for me.
Oh,
Mhm.
nice.
So it'll have like little illustrations kind of thrown in between the pages, kind of thing.
Oh, okay. So like just like a storybook where you would find like just
Yeah.
Mhm.
okay, cool. And when do you have that? Like do you have a plan for when you want that to be out?
Not anything set in stone.
Yeah,
Mhm.
She already has the story written out.
it's written.
It's already written.
Okay.
So now it's just up to me
Yeah,
to
Okay.
write it. I mean, to
to
illustrate
to
it.
illustrate. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's usually how it is. The
Hmm.
writers can knock out stuff faster than the artist can get it out. So
Yeah.
okay,
Hmm.
awesome. Well, we're really looking forward to seeing that at Casa. And then you said that that asteroid story was a one shot. Do you have any other than the novella? Do you have other comic ideas, or was this just kind of you experimenting with comic and
I do have another comic idea.
okay,
Um, it's about when you play video games,
mhm.
especially RPGs, and you have like the merchant that you see in like every town.
Yeah.
So the comic is actually going to be about the merchant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. His life of all these people that come through to his shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's like a traveling merchant.
Like a
So we
traveling
see her
merchant.
going through different landscapes. That one will probably like in the next couple 3 years, maybe,
Maybe,
because
yeah.
Yeah.
because we're kind of trying to see which one we want to get pushed out first.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but that
That-
one will be fun too. It's gonna be kind of comic-y. I guess it's like
Yeah, it's like an art book slash
Mhm.
comic
Yeah.
kind of idea.
That's awesome. I can't wait. And hopefully y'all can get to that one. So I just wanted to finish up here before if people want to keep up with y'all and your work and things like that, where can they find y'all online?
we have a few different platforms that we use. Instagram is one of them. We're just kind of not posting as much there right now, but we do have a Kara Artful,
Hmm.
and you can definitely find us on Ko-fi under Queendom in the Stars. That's a good place too because I will be posting different little doodles and things like that. We do little excerpts every now and then, and
Okay.
that's a great way to support us too.
And then if they go to your Instagram, that's under Queendom in the Stars, right?
Mhm.
And then from there, if I remember, I'm pulling it up here. Yeah, that you've got a link where that can take everyone to all your other links, correct?
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I'll make sure that it's updated, but you should be able to reach it from there.
Okay, awesome. Well, again, thank y'all so much for joining me. Come out and see Queendom in the Stars on October 5th at CASA at the Marriott Airport San Antonio. And when you're there, we are going to have over 50 other comic creators. So please make sure you not only go to Queendom in the Stars table, pick up Astrid's Adventures, but also look at everybody else's and all their great comics that they've created. So again, thank y'all so much for joining me. I can't wait for October
Thank
5th.
you. Yeah, this was fun. Thanks so much.
No problem. Have a good one.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.